Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We're going to begin on page 128.
With Maya Hayom, please join with us. Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Maya
Bruchim Habayim, welcome everyone. It's not every day that on a Friday night we have this many people gathered here. It must be a special occasion, which it is. It is the installation of Cantor, Breznick, and we're pleased to have so many people in the house tonight, including many people who made the long trek up from Danbury and some even farther, some from New Jersey, I believe, and other people have gathered around just to celebrate with us on this occasion. And it's not every day that we have this much clergy up here on the bima. So maybe if we could just go around and introduce ourselves, perhaps.
I'm Cantor Faith Steinsnyder.
I'm Rabbi Stefan TV. Some Denver folks might know me.
Cantor Penny Kessler.
I'm Rabbi Ari.
Cantor Breznick.
We're going to continue with Dodi Lee on page 129. Turn to page 120 for the candle lighting. We thought it would be nice to invite Rabbi Stefan TV up to kindle the Shabbat candles.
Baruch
turn to page 130, where we continue with Lahu Narananan. On page 131 with Shir Chadash. On page 138 as we welcome the Sabbath bride with Lechadodim.
We continue with Shalom Aleichem on page 142. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashavim, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
You know, I had thought that Temple Shalom was the only Reformed congregation that sat during the Shema until I went to the installation for Rabbi Stefan TV, and I realized that the UJC also sits for the Shema, I believe, right? That is correct, right? Yeah, so we're going to sit for the Shema. We're going to rise now from Chazi Kaddish, and after the Baruch Hu, we will say, please turn to page 144.
Yitzkadah, Yitzkadah, Shemei Rabba.
Amen.
Adi v'rachi rutei v'yamlich malchutei.
There is one who sings the song of his own life, finding everything within himself or herself. There is one who leaves the circle of herself and sings the song of her people. There is one whose voice rings with the song of humanity, hoping for the highest perfection. And there is one who rises even higher, uniting with all creatures, with all worlds, filling the universe with song. Nivarech. May be seated. Please join me at the bottom of page 149. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv ha'aravi. Please join me on page 159. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect. The song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
Oh,
161. Please join me on the second reading on the page. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and your rest.
Baruch atah, Adonai, haborei sudat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al amot Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim, ve'al kol amot. Ve'al Yerushalayim,
Be seated as we continue on page 173. May these hours together, may these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mikadesh HaShabbat. Continue together at the top of page 177. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, Hatov Shivcha L'cha Na'el Lehodot.
Shalom Rav Yisrael.
Tasim leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael. Tasim leolam. Yatahu melech Adon. Lechol
in the service, we usually do a prayer for healing. Normally, we do the Debbie Friedman Mishaberach, but on this special occasion, I'd like to call forward Barbara Kessler, our choir director, to sing Heal Us Now with Cantor Laura Breznick. And before we sing this, normally, if we were doing the other one, I would take an opportunity to listen to the names of people that we know, people that we love, that are in need of healing at this time. If we had fewer people here, we could all do it individually. But with this many people, I'd like to believe that the same God who has the power to heal people has the power to discern every single name if we say them all at once. So on the count of 3, if you're thinking of anyone, just go ahead and say their name out loud. 1, 2, 3. We include them all in our prayers.
We pray for healing of the body.
So it's at this point in the service that we transition into the installation ceremony. I printed out copies that were in the foyer, and I see several copies made their way out, but I'll bring out the remaining copies in case people don't have them. There's a few more here, if anybody would like it. You're going to need one. Anyone else want some? I'll tell you what, if you just take these and just pass them towards the back of the room, we'll make sure that everyone gets one. Just help to make sure. Yes, we do.
I had large.
Thank you.
Clergy copies. So at the beginning of the service today, Cantor Faith Stein-Snyder introduced herself, and she continued to introduce herself with her beautiful voice throughout the services this evening. But I'd like to tell you a little bit more about her. She was born in Philadelphia, raised in North Miami Beach, and we pray for Miami right now. She studied in Bloomington, Indiana, which is where my parents met, so it's got a special place in my heart, and also in New York City, becoming one of the first women ordained as a cantor from Hebrew Union College, the Jewish Institute of Religion. She was inspired, encouraged, and coached by master cantors who believed that women could sing traditional cantorial repertoire with authentic expression. She was, I believe, the first woman to teach Chazanut and Nusach at Hebrew Union College, the Jewish Institute of Religion, also the Jewish Theological Seminary of America, and the Academy for Jewish Religion in New York City. She has presented master classes and workshops at national conventions and at the Guild of Temple Musicians Mifgash Musical, a summer institute for synagogue musicians. Cantor Faith Stein-Snyder has been heard in concert throughout North America and Europe, and is much admired for her meticulous performances of cantorial, Hebrew, Yiddish, and Ladino repertoire, as well as musical theater and opera. She has a number of her own compositions, some of which are performed annually in Baltimore at St. Ignatius Church and at the Debbie Friedman School of Sacred Music Composers Showcase in New York City. Cantor Faith Stein-Snyder loves teaching at HUCJIR's Debbie Friedman School of Sacred Music, offering core courses including basic repertoire for Sabbath, festivals, and holy days. She has served congregations from Maryland to Massachusetts, Long Island to Los Angeles, and is in her 4th year as cantor in residence of Temple Israel in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which gets an exclamation point. In the 80s and 90s, Cantor Stein-Snyder frequently led Sabbath services in Connecticut congregations, including the Emmanuel Synagogue of West Hartford and high holidays at Bethel, Norwalk, and many years with congregation Bethel of New London. I grew up in New London County, and I wonder, at the conservative school, I may have heard you sing before. So, Cantor Faith Stein-Snyder is thrilled to be an officiant in the installation of her dear student, Cantor Laura Breznick, and is deeply honored to participate in this milestone event for Temple Shalom in New Milford. So without any further ado, I would like to invite everyone to turn to the first page of our ceremony that we have here, and I would like to invite Cantor Faith Stein-Snyder up to lead us in this ceremony.
I'll stand for a minute. But when Laura comes up here, I'll get off this platform. Okay, you know what you have to do. I'll go first. All right, and your job is to listen. We gather here this Shabbat to mark the installation of Laura Breznick as spiritual leader, teacher, and cantor of Temple Shalom.
In the days of the Talmud, our tradition set forth this guidance for the generations to come. Aseh lecha rav, provide for yourself a teacher.
Psalm 96 instructs us to sing unto God a new song.
Cantor, we ask that you teach us new songs and melodies to add to our repertoire of songs that connect us with Torah.
You shall teach them diligently to your children. The future of Judaism rests with us and with our children.
Cantor, we ask that we may be partners in the Jewish education of our children, and that you help us to create for our children a future in which we can all be proud.
Hillel said, "If I am not for myself, who shall be for me? If I care only for myself, what am I? If not now, when?"
Cantor, as a congregation, we have a commitment to social action in our community to help others. We look to you as our partner and our guide in the work of Tikkun Olam, making the world a better place.
Our tradition teaches that a person is given 3 names. Parents give one, peers give one, and one that he or she acquires. The name that one acquires for oneself is better than all the others.
Cantor, the name that we acquire for ourselves derives from how we treat our fellow congregants in their hour of need. We look to you as our partner and our guide in these acts of derech eretz, proper treatment of others.
We are young and old. Some are new to the congregation, and others are long-standing members. The congregation prays together and plays together, dancing at each other's simchas and consoling each other at times of grief. The congregation is a kehillah, a community.
Cantor, we look to you to work in partnership with our leaders who are entrusted to maintain the strength and vitality of this congregation.
Temple Shalom provides for so many people in such different ways. For some, it is a place for study, prayer, and for spiritual growth. Others delight in discovering an ever-expanding network of social connections. Many find that Temple Shalom is like a second home. For everyone, this is a place of connection to God, to our tradition, to the Jewish community, and to each other.
We will also connect deeply with you, our Cantor. We will study with you, learn from you, sing with you, and be guided by you. With you, we will share our deepest sorrows and our greatest joys. You will help us name our children and bury our dead. And you will provide an anchor for us as we face life's triumphs and tragedies.
May Temple Shalom's connection with Cantor Laura Breznick be characterized by mutual respect, kindness, and generosity.
Today marks the official beginning of our relationship. May we and you, Cantor, become a blessing to each other.
And let us say, Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Permit me to quote Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel on the vocation of the cantor. What is a cantor? The worship of the Jew is inconceivable without song. Indeed, say the rabbis, one who studies Torah without melody fails to penetrate to its essence. We may not ourselves be blessed with the gift of song, yet if we worship with earnestness and devoutness, our prayer creates its own song. Moses is described in the Torah as being slow of speech and of a slow tongue. But it is he who leads the people of Israel in a song of incomparable ecstasy and power. The truly dedicated and sensitive chazan, or cantor, gives voice both to the articulated and the soundless songs of the congregation. Like every artist, she must first express the deep feelings, visions, and experiences of her own soul, but she is more than an artist working in isolation, struggling only to bring forth her own yearnings, love, and anguish, seeking only to communicate the unique and individual universe whose solitary inhabitant she is. She is the Shaliach Tzibur, the emissary of the community. Hence, the cantor must also gather into her song the wide-ranging melodies of many hearts. She must awaken the mute and lethargic. She must give nobility of expression to those who can only inadequately sing their own song. They must recognize their song in her life as she stirs and evokes unfulfilled and unsuspected depths of the melody imprisoned within their own spirits. I wish I could have written that. But the community of whose song she captures, interprets, and releases is not only of the here and now. It has its roots in history. It has lived long with time, and the present generation is only the most recent of a rich procession of generations who yearned and worshipped and sang. The cantor's melody must embrace the song of the centuries. For though generations come and go, their prayers remain and become a part of the ever-expanding, ever-deepening tradition. The song that does not speak to the contemporary ear will not be heard. But the song that does not have the overtones and echoes of the many who have prayed across the expanse of time will not redeem and sanctify. The cantor must weave the hopes, sorrows, and joys of her generation into the noble religious tapestry of many generations, and thus liberate the prayers of our day from their restricting immediacies and narrowing presentness. The true cantor leads us more deeply into our soul and more richly into the faith of our people as our prayer fuses with hers on a plane beyond our own power to attain. Abraham Joshua Heschel. I'm not sure what beats that, not even four of a kind, please. So thank you for letting me share that. What a privilege, what a great privilege it is to be here with all of you at Temple Shalom on this very special Shabbat designated to honor and officially install your new cantor, Laura Breznick. As Laura's teacher at the Debbie Friedman School of Sacred Music of Hebrew Union College Jewish Institute of Religion, it was evident from the first time she sang on the New York campus, I didn't know her in Israel, that she was someone very special. Her classmates, her instructors, her colleagues love and respect her. She inspires all of us with her strength, her devotion to Judaism, and her supportive, positive energy, which I'm sure you feel by now. The cantor is much richer for her presence in it. Her kavanah, her intensity, her honesty in prayer, her beautiful neshama, her soul, her expressive angelic soprano voice, and her deeply felt interpretations of the liturgy inspire the worshiper and elevate the spirit. I wish I could come here on every Shabbat. What a treat you're in for. It is my great joy to be here this Shabbat and join together with Cantor Breznick and this congregation in sacred song. Cantor Breznick is indeed a sweet singer of Israel, and I invite her to join me with her together. Together, we're going to join together at this level. All right, back down to sea level. I can see you. We actually are the same height. This lectern is from a time gone by, isn't it? I need to quote one more rabbi, Rabbi Larry Hoffman. May God bless you as my teachers once blessed me, and their teachers once blessed them. For you and we and they are linked in one unbroken chain from Sinai until now. Know then with what passion I charge you to go forth into the world, to sing the song of centuries, and to tell the endless tale of a people called to service. Love the people you meet no less than you love God. For every single soul reflects the glory of our Maker, and every person may be someone you can teach. Go into the world and raise up your disciples, that someday you may know the joy that I do as I give you my blessing. Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, O God and God of our ancestors, help your new Cantor, Cantor Breznick, to lead this community in prayer. Help her to become a partner with your congregation, to sing to God a new song. Help her to bring comfort to those in pain. Help her to be a teacher of Torah. May her love of Hebrew and liturgy deepen this congregation's love and understanding of the texts and melodies of our people. May you learn from her wisdom and be open to her Torah. May you join together in expanding your souls with song and in repairing our broken world. God of our ancestors, teach Cantor Breznick the ways of this congregation. Let her know patience and humor. Let her be humble and generous. Let her be gentle and open. Give her courage and strength. Teach her that you are with her always. May she go from strength to strength. May she learn to number her days and deepen the wisdom in her heart. May the work of her hands and the gifts of her soul flourish here at Temple Shalom. And let us say, Amen. Hang on. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel, bless Cantor Laura Breznick, who has come here to honor God, the Torah, and this congregation. May the Holy One of Blessing watch over her and protect her, guard her from affliction and illness, prosper her in all her undertakings together with her sisters and brothers of the household of Israel. And let us say again, Amen. We rise for a priestly benediction. May God's light shine upon you, and may God be gracious to you. Ye saw Adonai, Panav Elecha, V'yasem lecha shalom. May you feel God's presence within you always, and may you find peace. We say one last time, Amen. Before Cantor Breznick rebuts, we have one major prayer, a congregational blessing, at the back of your booklet. We say together with great feeling, may
May God be with you and bless you with health and strength. May the light of Torah shine strongly within you, illuminating all those you touch. May your teachings take us higher and higher. May God bless your efforts with success and bless the choices you make. May God bless this community with unity and peace. May you lead us from strength to strength. And may God bless this new path you are about to undertake. And bless you with courage and the power to be bold. May God watch over you and shield you from harm. May you be a blessing to this world, to this community, and to this congregation. And may blessings surround you now and always.
Please be seated. Oh. Wow. Oh. Okay. Adonai, my God, God of the matriarchs, God of the patriarchs, God of the sages, and God of the great leaders of the Jewish people, I look to you to empower me to serve the good people of Temple Shalom to the very best of my ability. Grant me the discernment to know the right path for the congregation as a whole, and the sensitivity to tend to the needs of every individual within it. Invest me with the wisdom of our heritage, and grant me the talent to teach our traditions in ways that are innovative, creative, and stimulating for learners of every variety. Endow me with the energy, charisma, and music to inspire people to model Jewish values within our community and country, pursuing justice and righteousness for all humankind and all of God's creations. Teach me to walk in your ways with all the caring and compassion of a loving parent, honoring your Torah in everything I do, doing my part to fulfill the mission of the Jewish people. Together, may we all make Temple Shalom a temple of peace, a shelter of peace, a source of peace, and a blessing. As I stand before you this Shabbat, I am honored and humbled. It is an incredible privilege for me to stand here on this bima as your first cantor. As you just heard in my last statement, I do not take this responsibility lightly, and I am grateful that you, Temple Shalom, have put your trust in me to fulfill the role of cantor for this sacred community. As you all know, this role would be impossible for me to fulfill on my own. As I stand here, I am surrounded by those whom I love, family, teachers, mentors, dedicated lay leaders, and of course, the congregation as a whole. It is all of you here today that allow me to be able to serve you to the best of my ability, and I am grateful for the support and love that I am shown every day. With yours and God's help, may we continue to grow and shine as a congregation, and may this only be the beginning of a beautiful partnership. At this time, I wish to thank several people, starting with those who joined me on the bima this evening. Rabbi Ari, thank you for putting all of this into motion and having the initial thought of, hey, let's bring in a cantor. You are a joy to share the bima with every Shabbat, and I look forward to many more fruitful years of collaboration. To Dr. Barbara Kessler, our triumphant choir director and truly dedicated lay leader. For years, you have been providing this congregation with beautiful music, and I am so grateful that you choose to continue to do so both tonight as well as at other services throughout the year, and for the work you do with the High Holiday Choir. As congregants like Barbara cannot be diminished, and her voice will continue to sing for many years to come. Thank you to Cantor Penny Kessler. You are not only my husband's clergy, you're also a mentor and a friend to me. Knowing I have someone so close in whom I can confide, receive advice, is an incredible comfort. And from music selection to tips for daily congregational life to sushi lunches, both Rabbi TV and myself are lucky to have you in our lives. Thank you for joining me here tonight. To Cantor Steinfeld. When I found out my installation was coming up, I knew the one teacher I wanted from HUC to perform this installation was you. Having been my first Nusach and vocal coach at HUC, you have the opportunity to provide me with my first fruits of Nusach. You showed me that a woman can sing traditional music, and, as we heard a little tonight, incorporated into a typical Friday night service. I'm grateful that you made the trip up here today, this evening, so close to the High Holy Days, in order to perform this installation. This is an evening I will never forget, and you helped to make it happen. Thank you for lending me your voice, grace, and compassion. Finally, to my husband, Rabbi Stefan TV. What can I say? I would not be standing here today if it weren't for your love and dedication. You helped to make me a better person, and I am grateful for the love you show me every day. Finally, I wish to thank all of you here today, my congregation, my husband's congregation, and of course, my own family. I'm incredibly grateful my mother, my father, my grandmother Margie, my Aunt Fran, and my cousin, and of course her wonderful aide Regina. Thank you for making the trip up here. Thank you for being here today, and thank you to all of you for putting your trust in me and helping me to be the best version of myself, and for being here today to help me celebrate this momentous occasion. Shabbat Shalom.
But wait, there's more.
I have to make another speech?
We have two gifts for you. One is on behalf of the congregation. This is a yad for you to use when you're chanting Torah here. Many times we wanted you to have a special yad of your own. That was one of the gifts that I received when I became the rabbi here, and so I wanted you to have a special yad. I hope you enjoy it. And this is a gift for me. It's a special Kiddush cup for when you're doing Kiddush. It would just be nice for you to have a special cup that will always remind you of the sweetness of this occasion and how much we love you and care for you and appreciate everything that you brought to enhance this wonderful congregation. Thank you, sure. Now, for the Shehechianu, I'd like to call forward all of the clergy so we can do the Shehechianu together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Generally at this point I do announcements, and I would just refer anyone to either our website or our bulletin, which we have copies of. But I will say that next Saturday night we're joining again with Temple Shalom and the UJC together for the Slichot service Saturday night. It was really, really special last year, and it's going to be special again this year. We're really looking forward to that. So that's next Saturday night. And we're going to continue in our prayer books at this point. On page 586, with the Aleinu, please rise. You may be seated. I'll be reading on page 594. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch. A fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be, and oh, to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing, to love what death has touched. Turn to page 598. It's our custom to rise if you hear the name of a member of your own family as I go through the list of yard sites that are observed both at Temple Shalom and also at the UJC, and as I go through the list of names for whom we're in a year of mourning. Temple Shalom, we observe yard sites for Abby Wittrock, Bessie Baker, Samuel Probstein, Dora Barrick, Edith Michaels, Philip Alex Scherer, and Eva Rosenbaum Quigley, as well as Sophie Marcus. And at the UJC, we're observing yard sites for Elise Kofer, Helen Sarna, Mel Weissman, and Louis Sidney. And we're in a year of mourning for Harry Brode, Diane Mark Abramson, Victor Peplau, Murray Kessler, Claire Katz, Bernard and Ruth Hoberman, Joel Spector, Audrey Marcus. Are there any additional names to add that I haven't?
Ruth Borland.
Sure.
Joseph Bronski.
Sure. Any others? We say Zichrono Levracha. The memory of each one is a blessing, and we rise together as one people to recite the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah, v'yamad yivrach v'yutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayei kol Beit Yisrael, v'agalav v'zman karim v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah v'rach le'olam v'omei amayah, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramah v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar v'yitaled v'yitalal shemei k'dusha b'richu, Le'elam mipol birchata v'shirata, Tushbchata v'nechmata, Damiran v'amah v'imru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya, V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom imromav, Hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. With one who creates harmony on high, bring peace to us, to all Israel, to everyone in the world, and let us say, Amen. Oseh shalom, shalom, shalom. Hallelujah, oseh shalom. Aleinu ve'alko Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen. You may be seated. Our closing song is Tfilat Haderech on page 649.
Just so you know, Tefillat Haderech, it was the closing song for my bat mitzvah. I was ordained to this, and now we conclude the installation. Please join with us. May we be blessed as we go on our way. May we be guided in peace. May we be blessed with health and joy. May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. May we be sheltered by the wings of peace. May we be kept in safety and in love. May grace and compassion find their way to every soul. And may this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing.
And I just want to thank Cantor Faith Steinsnyder and Rabbi Stefan Tavo and Cantor Penny Kessler and also Barbara Kessler for singing, and especially to Cantor Laura Breznick. This is really a magical evening, and we've got a lot to look forward to. One final closing blessing before we go downstairs for our Kiddush and reception. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Yair Adonai panav elecha v'yechunecha. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Shabbat shalom and a mazal tov.